Welcome to Kinda Geeky Reviews, where I review geeky topics in a really geeky way. Today we have Buffy Season 10, number 11. This issue starts off with Buffy going on speed dating. I'm not sure if speed dating exists in anything other than TV and movies or comics, but it's a funny premise. It has some people coming up to her who are referencing the events in Season 8, which would make sense that she'd be internationally recognized given that she had a war going on a bunch of different continents. And we also get the stereotypical Buffy fanboy who's asking questions like, hey, how can vampires get boners? Or how can vampires smoke? And it's quickly dismissed as it should be. Things get a little bit weirder when Buffy encounters two speed daters who are vampires who ask if she still has the hots for them, and then get their nipple rings entwined with one another and Buffy rips them both apart. That's not okay, that's just weird. The whole issue continues, covering all of the main characters and their different love stories. It's a lot like the Season 7 episode, Conversations with Dead People, where they showed all of the characters doing something very similar to one another. Just in this case, it's all dealing with their individual love stories. Xander continues to try too hard to get Dawn to be in a relationship with him while getting advice from Ghost Anya. Now, where I think this issue really succeeds is in capturing the characters' voices. This is really the first issue that I felt like Christos Gage got Anya's voice right. It reminded me of the character from the show, and it really worked this time. The issue jumps over to Willow's story where she's continuing her relationship with Arwen? I don't know how to pronounce it. Now, this is a character I'm not that big on. When she was introduced in Season 8, it seemed like Willow was cheating on Kennedy with her. And this was never really addressed or discussed in any of the stories, but now Alu, the snake demon chick, can come over to our dimension where she's talking to Willow about rewriting the rules of magic. And Willow very clearly says, hey, your whole thing is deception. I probably shouldn't listen to you when rewriting the laws of my world. Good call. We get a little bit of Giles going to find Olivia. Olivia is a character that hasn't been seen since Season 4 of Buffy, who Giles was shown to have a bit of a relationship with. He goes over to her place and he attempts to sleep with her, and she rightly says, I'm not going to sleep with a 12-year-old. I'm really enjoying this new take on Giles. You can get a lot of the old character in there, but it's also fun seeing these new aspects of him brought in, where if he doesn't get his way, he throws a bit of a tantrum, and it's a good transition. The issue then cuts over to Andrew, where he drinks from the Asclepian vial. Stop doing this to me. And in Andrew's idealized version of himself, he finally admits that he's gay. Or kind of. Or maybe. He doesn't really. Even though he says, I think I'm gay, it might not really be him saying that he thinks he's gay, and it's very confusing. This is something that's always been implied by the show and the comic, and they've really been building towards a lot more since the beginning of the season. Now on the show, Andrew is one of my favorite characters, but since the transition over to comics, I don't feel like his voice has been captured just right. There are occasional moments where you can see the character, but I still think he's one that the writers have always had difficulty translating from one form to the other. Although I do appreciate that he is considered to be one of the main characters now. Now over in Spike's story, we get to see that he's still pretending that he's not in love with Buffy, even though all of the characters and readers know that's what the case is. This issue shows a different side of Spike, where we see him saving kittens instead of using them as gambling pieces. Now, I never got why Spike would want kittens to win for gambling. I know that the other demons like to eat them, but did the vampires? This was a gag that was never that funny to me, and I kind of wish it hadn't come back, but oh well. Now, without giving the ending away, it's something that we've all seen coming, and I'm kind of glad that it finally got there. There's been a little too much back and forth with this, and I'm curious to see where things are going. This issue was illustrated by Megan Levens, who's replacing Rebecca Isaacs for the first time this season. I thought overall she did a good job of getting the essence of the characters down and their facial features. There were a few panels, however, where the characters looked very stiff and didn't really give a sense of movement. Overall, I liked this issue. It was a good beginning to this new arc, and it really felt like an old episode of the TV show, which is always nice. So remember to subscribe to my videos. I'm going to be putting out new geeky content every week.